Oklahoma State prepares for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Seahawks upset Russell Wilson in his return to Seattle, and over the weekend, Ramsbottom hosted the annual Black Pudding Throwing Championship. All of that and more coming up on the Daily O. Good evening, and welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Daily O. I'm Emma Lightfoot. Let's get into all things sports happening right now. Mike Gundy addressed the media yesterday on a positive note coming off of OSU's victory against Arizona State on Saturday. One of the key players in last Saturday's matchup, as most of you know, was running back Dominic Richardson. Here's what Gundy had to say about his performance.
So I told the team that overall on paper, whatever paper means, didn't mean a lot last week. But on paper, people are going to say you're a more athletic and a more talented team, and I'm okay with that. So, but I'm stressing the importance of focus, stressing the importance of us improving in all three phases, and then also understand that we always respect whoever we play. We talk about that in this culture for years here.
This week, the Cowboys are set to face off against the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, a team that they've never faced before. While Gundy has never played against UAPB, the last time he faced a Southwestern Athletic Conference team was in 2009, when the Pokes faced Grambling State and defeated them 56-6. The game is set to kick off at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Let's take a quick break, but when we return, we'll take a look at last night's NFL game between the Broncos and Seahawks. Also, we'll take an in-depth look at Cowboys making the headlines in the NFL and what happened on this day in 2008. Stick around to find out. Stay tuned, and the Daily O will be right back.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our products, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
Welcome back to the Daily O. Let's pick things up at Neil Patterson Field. where the Cowgirls' own Grace Yoakum was honored today as the Big 12 Player of the Week. Yoakum became OSU's career goal leader last Thursday against Stephen F. Austin as she capped off a productive road trip where she tallied 4 goals, 2 of them as game winners. Yoakum joined teammate Olivia Dowell as the 2 Cowgirls to earn Big 12 Player of the Week. Dowell earned the honor in Week 1. With last night's wild football game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos, Seattle upset the highly favored Broncos 17-16, spoiling former Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson and head coach Nathaniel Hackett's season debuts with their new squad. Geno Smith was the unlikely star of the game, passing for 195 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, leading his team to a statement victory. Defensively, Seattle was led by linebacker Cody Barton, who had 10 tackles and 1 sack. Russell Wilson's performance against his former team was noteworthy, finishing the game with 340 yards and 1 passing touchdown, but it wasn't quite enough to seal the deal for the Broncos. Bradley Chubb was a highlight for the Broncos' defense, getting 2 sacks and 6 tackles. The game was decided in the last 20 seconds with a 64-yard field goal attempt by the Broncos on a 4th and 5. Kicker Brandon McManus missed wide left, allowing the Seahawks to kneel, closing out the clock. Twitter was abuzz after the game, ranging from praise for Smith or harsh criticisms of Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett. Trevor Woods says the ending of the Broncos-Seahawks game was bizarre, one of the worst sequences of decision-making by a head coach I've ever seen. Rough start to the Nathaniel Hackett era in Denver, former Broncos defensive lineman Shelby Harris concluded on his on-field interview with James Palmer, simply with, "Let's ride." Let's take another break, but when we return, one former Poke is making a huge splash in the NFL, and some important games are coming up for MLB players. Stay tuned to find out on the Daily O.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation, posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Everyone's favorite Hard Knocks celebrity, Malcolm Rodriguez, made his NFL debut on Sunday for the Detroit Lions. Rodriguez had 6 tackles and was Detroit's highest-graded defender by Pro Football Focus with a 73.4 rating. One of his highlights included tossing Eagles center Jason Kelce to the ground. His coach, Dan Campbell, says for a rookie who went in there and played a substantial role for us, he did a nice job. Campbell added that Rodriguez was physical, aggressive, and had 0 missed assignments. Pretty good start to the young linebacker's career, if you ask me. Rodriguez's Pro Football Focus rating was the 12th highest for linebackers across the league, and the #1 rookie. The former Cowboys' performance was PFF's 5th highest rookie Week 1 grade the last 5 seasons, according to Al Karsten. Moving to the other side of the ball, former Cowboy Jaylen Warren looks to have a bigger role for the Pittsburgh Steelers in next week's game against the New England Patriots, after Steelers running back Najee Harris was left last week's game with a foot injury. Earlier today, Harris reported that he intends to play this weekend, but it's unsure of how much playing time Harris will actually see. Warren is the #2 back on the squad, and with coach Mike Tomlin likely wanting to protect his offensive star, the undrafted Warren may have his chance to shine this weekend. And let's not forget about the protection up front. Former Cowboy and current Chicago Bear, Tevin Jenkins, was the highest-rated lineman on the Bears from Week 1. The right guard, who was drafted by the Bears in 2021, helped Chicago win its opening game against San Francisco. His 77.9 rating was also the 8th highest rating among all linemen for Week 1. Let's take one last break for this Tuesday edition of the Daily O. But when we return, it's time to find out what happened on this day in OSU sports history. The Daily O will be right back.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
A Golf Digest 5-star course, Best New Public Course won an Open in 1994, and a top 100 public golf course in America since 2003. This course, just 5 miles outside of Stillwater, Oklahoma on Highway 51, is named after one of the influential golf pioneers this game has known.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek's a modern golf course.
The beauty of the course is in large part to the elements of the grounds. The Georgia fairways transformed from its original forested landscape. Georgia was used to combat the tough winters so golfers could play year-round. The greens are large and sloping bent grass hills. The low-cut bent grass can be similar to glass during peak championship conditions. The bunkers surrounding most holes remind golfers of a white beach rather than a deep hazard. Lake Louise, surrounded by the second 9, completes the perfect finishing hole. The long par 72 course perfectly combines nature with the difficulty of a championship course. Karsten's added challenge is the Oklahoma wind.
So there aren't any other schools in the country that have that same commitment to college golf as we do here at Oklahoma State.
But if you're going to play at the highest level, you've got to be able to focus on where you want to go, and Karsten Creek does a good job of training you to do that, because if you don't, you're going to have a long day. And that's a great legacy that Coach Holder left, because that's the way he coached.
So, what did actually happen on this day in OSU's history? On September 13th, 2008, Missouri State came to town for a Big 12 and FCS matchup against the Cowboys. OSU's rushing attack was unstoppable, as the Cowboys ran for a combined 492 yards in the 57-13 victory over the Bears. Another FCS team comes to town this weekend, as the Cowboys look to repeat the same success. There are some important games tonight for MLB players. Center fielder Mike Trout has a 7-game home run streak, which is tied for second of all time. Trout's Los Angeles Angels began play against the Cleveland Guardians at 5:10 tonight, so tune into the end of the show to see if Trout ties the record. Albert Pujols is 3 home runs away from the 700 home run club. St. Louis plays the Milwaukee Brewers tonight at 6:45. And over the weekend, Ramsbottom hosted the World Black Pudding Throwing Championships. Organizers contemplated postponing the championships because of Queen Elizabeth's death. They decided not to postpone because of the volume of participants and the crowd. The objective of this event is to raise money for charity. The competitors aimed their black puddings and attempted to knock off Yorkshire puddings that were elevated 20 feet in the air. That'll do it for today's episode of The Daily O. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check back in tomorrow wait, there's a blank there and it's supposed to, okay, tomorrow, we'll have you covered on all you need to know for the Daily O. I'm Emma Lightfoot.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily Shooping. I'm your marketing coordinator for the Made in Oklahoma Coalition. I'm coming to you with an amazing opportunity. We are teaming up with the Ocali Media Group at Oklahoma State University. We want to tell your story on the following platforms: streaming, newspaper, and digital. This opportunity will not only allow your story to be told locally, but nationally as well. I am so excited for each of you to join in on this tremendous opportunity. This will not only be good for your business, but it will be good for our great state of Oklahoma. You can be expecting an email from me soon with more details about this opportunity. Local has a name, local has a face, local has a flavor. The Made in Oklahoma Coalition.
Are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.